Okay, so today's video is about training zones. I've got a chart behind me that looks quite complicated, but I'm going to try and go through it as sort of concisely and accurately as I can. You may need to watch the video a couple of times before completing the task, but I'll try my best. Right, so what we've got here, I've used a 20-year-old as an example. Okay, so training zones are important to athletes and coaches because we need to make sure, using heart rate, that we're training in the correct zone and training the correct energy system. A couple of key words that you need to get your head around first. MHR stands for maximal heart rate. We work that out roughly with 220 minus age. So they say that maximal heart rate decreases with age. Okay, so you can get a rough estimate by 220 minus your age. So for this particular person or athlete, 220 minus his age would be 200 beats per minute. And therefore, 200 beats per minute would be his maximal heart rate, the most amount of times that his heart can beat in 1 minute. There's no going any further than that. At the bottom of the chart then, we've got 0. So we've got 0 to 200 beats per minute. Now generally, if he's fit, his resting heart rate is going to be around 50 to 70 beats per minute. Okay, so currently now, I'm in this first zone, this no improvement zone. Okay, so I might be watching TV, recording this video, I'm in the no improvement zone. Okay, and that's under 60% of his maximal heart rate, which would be under 120 beats per minute. Having said that, if I work between 50 to 60% of maximal heart rate, even though I'm not in the aerobic zone, I'm still going to burn fat, I'm still going to burn calories. That might be a light or gentle walk that somebody might do when they're just coming into fitness. They're on a journey, they might be a little bit overweight, and they want to start gently. That's still going to be great for their mental health, for burning calories and burning fat. So if we look then more on the sports side, we've got a line here, and that is what is known as a threshold. So to go from one zone into another zone, so from the no improvement zone or the fat burning zone to go into the aerobic zone, we've got to cross this threshold. Okay, so if I went out and started running now, I would cross, after 5 or 6 minutes, I would cross into the aerobic zone because my heart rate would be at 120 beats per minute or more, around 60% of my maximal heart rate. So activities in this aerobic zone to develop our aerobic capacity and our cardiovascular system would be things like jogging, swimming and cycling long distances, sports like triathlon. Interestingly as well, in terms of our knowledge of thresholds, we can see at the top of the aerobic zone there's another threshold, and that line there is known as the anaerobic threshold. Now, we've talked about overload in some of the previous videos. If you work near the anaerobic threshold, you're going to be overloading your aerobic and cardiovascular systems. Now, that has an advantage because what it means is that you've got potential to develop your aerobic zone to the point where you can run that little bit faster, cycle that little bit faster, whilst staying in the aerobic zone. And the advantage of that is that there's not going to be lactic acid buildup. So I'll use Mo Farah as an example. Maybe a gentle run to him would be 6-minute miles. If I went out and ran 6-minute miles with Mo Farah now, he would be very comfortably in this aerobic zone. Whereas me, because my heart isn't as efficient as a pump, it's not as big, my lung capacity isn't as great as his. He's got more capillarization around his muscles, around his alveoli in the lung. He's going to be able to deliver oxygen more effectively. And therefore, if we're running 6-minute miles, he's going to be comfortably in here. I am going to end up in this anaerobic zone. What's going to happen there? Because I'm working anaerobically, lactic acid is going to build up in my muscles and I'm not going to be able to sustain being high into that zone for more than 60 to 90 seconds, and therefore he's going to carry on running comfortably. I'm going to have to stop. So there is the advantage of overloading the aerobic zone, is that you can stay in that zone longer, and more importantly, you can stay in that zone while moving or cycling or swimming at a greater speed than another person. And that is why you will stay ahead of them, is because you don't get that lactic acid buildup that somebody would if their aerobic system isn't as efficient and they cross into the anaerobic zone. So we've got the anaerobic threshold here. Certain athletes want to cross into that zone because they want to be specific to their sport. Okay, so for example, sprinters, 100, 200, 300 meter sprinters are going to be working anaerobically. If we were doing a 60-second push-up test, we're going to be working anaerobically. If we're doing a high-intensity interval training, we're going to be working anaerobically because we're working at high intensity, getting that heart rate right up and working maybe for 30 seconds, having a bit of a rest and going again before that heart rate drops off. So hopefully you've got a bit of an understanding now of what we mean by training zones. I'd watch the video again and just make sure that you know what maximal heart rate is and how you work it out, that you know the difference between a threshold and a zone, and that you know the difference between working aerobically and anaerobically. You could also watch the energy systems video again to remind you of that. What I'd like you to do then is sort of create your own chart and label it, and just within these boxes then, just list the different sorts of activities that you feel would keep you in those zones or take you to those zones. They might be fitness tests, they might be athletics events, they might be types of training or methods of training. But yeah, give that a go. You may need to watch the video a couple of times, but hopefully that helps. And over time, you can really develop an understanding of training zones, because they are really important when we talk about creating effective training programs for athletes who compete in different sports and different events. Okay, thank you.